Hi everyone, I'm CaliKim. Welcome to my garden. So glad that you're here with me today because we're going to talk about 10 perennial herbs that you can grow now in November. Now you can plant these herbs once and grow them forever. It's the wonderful thing about perennials, they come back year after year, and all the ones I'm sharing with you today are extremely cold hardy. So even you northern gardeners can keep these herbs alive in the wintertime. So the first one we're going to start with is right here, mint. One of my all-time favorite herbs. I've literally had this mint plant growing here for 12 years. That's how hardy it is. Now I realize we are in Southern California, but mint is hardy down to about 0 degrees. So even if you live in one of those cold, frigid northern areas, you can grow mint. Now the thing about mint is though, it's super invasive. So you always, should I say that again, want to grow it in a container. Now you might be saying, Kim, it doesn't look like you have a container here, but underneath this crazy prolific mint is actually a galvanized steel pipe, which when we redid our yard, we actually cut this pipe into lengths. We got it from a local farmer actually, painted it red, and that's where I have my mint planted. So it really does give a fun little visual interest to this garden here. But do plant it in containers. Smart pots work great. It's also wonderful to propagate. So easy to propagate mint, you guys. If you don't have mint growing, find a friend that does, ask them for a couple of cuttings. All I have to do is just cut off a few stems here from the end of my mint plant, and then you can propagate it right on your kitchen windowsill simply by placing it in a jar of water. It's so easy. It will grow roots from the stems in probably a week or so. You can actually grow it on your windowsill all winter long. So even if your mint is already dying back for the winter, you can go ahead and put some inside and have it all winter. It smells so delicious. Now, one of our favorite ways to use mint is simply to flavor our water with. I mean, let's face it, water is kind of boring to drink, but if you could put some of your fresh herbs in your water, you're going to drink that much more. I totally guarantee it. We put it in our sparkling water with a squirt of lime, and also it's wonderful in the cozy, on the cold winter days to make some cozy mint tea. So I highly recommend you grow mint in your garden. It is a little bit tricky to start from seed. The seeds can take like 3 to 4 weeks to germinate. So grab a cutting from a friend. That's really the easiest, all-time easiest way to plant it. Now come on over here. I'm going to show you one of our other perennial herbs. Now we had just had a huge windstorm this week, and all of my zinnias are blown down, as you can see. I haven't had time to clean them up. The second perennial herb I love to grow in my garden is sage. Here I've got some absolutely gorgeous sage, and it also has been growing here for about 12 years. So the great thing about most of these perennials is that once they start to kind of die back, if you live in a colder area, you can actually cut them way back to these woody stems here, till they're literally like a few inch sticks just sticking out of the ground. I usually do this to my sage a couple of times a year, to my mint maybe 3 or 4 times a year. You think it looks dead, but it grows back more beautiful than ever and really does help promote a lot of brand new fresh growth. Now sage is a great one to grow now in November for Thanksgiving. So it also is very difficult to grow from seed, but can propagate not quite as easily as mint. The woody herbs with these woodier, thicker stems are much more difficult to propagate, but you still can do it if you have a little bit of patience. What I do when I propagate sage, rosemary, or thyme, which we'll get into in just a moment, is I take a cutting from a softer stem. See how this stem isn't the dark brown color as these stems are down here? It's a softer cutting, and it will root easier. So just snip it off, and again, put it in a jar of water. I always like to add a few drops of Vermistera worm castings because it's a natural rooting hormone, and it might take about 2 to 3 weeks to propagate, but be patient. You can do it, and that's a great way to grow sage and mint indoors in the wintertime. Oh, I wish you guys could be here and smell the aroma of these herbs. If you've never done any vegetable gardening, herb gardening is a great way to start. They're all very easy to grow. Most of them are drought tolerant, and this is a great way to flavor your Thanksgiving turkey. Now, one of my favorite recipes from sage is to snip it all up, lots and lots, a couple of handfuls of leaves, brown some butter just before it burns, throw the sage in there until it gets nice and crispy, then make a cream sauce to pour over chicken or fish. So, so good. I have instructions on how to get your indoor garden set up in 10 minutes or less in my new book, The 10-Minute Gardener. You can head over to our website to pre-order it. And when you pre-order, you get a free digital CaliKim 2025 calendar with pictures from the book and a 10-minute garden tip on every single month. And you'll also get an invite to our live stream book launch party. You've got to stop buying herbs at the grocery store. They're so, so expensive, and often they aren't fresh. The flavor isn't near as strong, and you're wasting your money because they go bad before you can even eat them all. Just grow your own. Even if you don't have a big garden, just grow some in containers like I am, this oregano here. Now, oregano is another one of those extremely cold hardy herbs. Cold hardy down to about -20 degrees. So if you already have some growing in your garden right now, it's going to survive most cold temperatures. And it is just a delicious Italian herb. We love growing it right outside our back door here on our patio because we love to make wood fire pizza. That way I can just pop out, snip some to throw on our pizza. It's also great in chicken and fish dishes. Now, these hardier herbs dry very, very easily. All you have to do is just wrap a piece of twine around the bottom like this, hang it upside down in your kitchen. It will dry in a couple of weeks and you'll have herbs all winter long. I guarantee it. So definitely grow some right outside your back door so you can pop outside, grab some when you're grilling, cooking, or just to pop in your soups or salads. Now, another one of my favorite perennial herbs are chives. Chives are one of the easiest herbs to grow and super, super hardy. They also last through the heat, through the cold. They're hardy probably, I think, down to about 20 degrees or so. So you can definitely grow them in those northern zones. In the southern gardens where it's frost free, you can grow all these herbs all winter long. So chives is a great one to grow in a container. And here you can see I've been growing these chives probably for about a year or so in this smart pot, looking a little bit beat up. But man, it has given me loads and loads of chives. I probably harvest off this plant several times a week. Now, the wonderful thing about chives, they're very, very easy to grow from seed. And by the way, if you need seeds, I have several of my perennial herbs in my CaliKim herb seed collection. It's really a good one. You got to go over and grab it and grow yourself some herbs. The thing about chives, though, if you plant them once, you literally can grow them forever. They grow in clumps. You can see how closely these chives are growing together here. And what you can do, and I do this several times a year, or it's also a fun thing to do now at Christmas time to give to your friends, is you can dig up a clump. They are super, super hardy and virtually indestructible, extremely drought tolerant. So you can pull up a clump, separate some of the little chives, and plant them in a small pot. That's exactly where this little pot of chives came from, is the 1 gallon pot I pulled out and planted them, and now I have one growing inside. So highly recommend chives for your herb garden. It's a great one here for November and December. I don't often bring you out to my front yard, but the next edible herb is also great for landscaping, and that is lavender. Absolutely gorgeous flowers and so, so fragrant. Not only is it very, very cold tolerant to grow in November, but it's also extremely heat tolerant. We get the southern sun here and it lasts through the entire summer. Now, to harvest lavender, you want to snip the flowers before they dry for the most fragrance and the most flavor. Just snip off a few. They make a beautiful bouquet inside the house. Absolutely delicious in teas and beverages. But you can also harvest the lavender dry like this and then just run your fingers backwards along the stem. Put it in little sachets, little netting bags, put it in your drawers to help your drawers smell good, even into your trash cans to help eliminate odors. It has so many uses. Now, one of my favorite things about lavender, and one of the biggest reasons I grow it, because the bees absolutely love it. They love purple flowers. So typically, oh, here's a little bumblebee back here. Typically, this lavender plant is buzzing with bees. You can bring the pollinators right into your garden to help pollinate your vegetables simply by growing herbs. Lavender is also very challenging to grow from seed, taking several weeks to germinate. However, it does propagate along with my other herbs here. So that's really the best way to grow it. Very, very hardy. I planted this as a very small transplant from the garden center probably a year ago, and look how much it's grown. It's been cut back several times and it comes right back. Now, over here next to the lavender is some thyme, a delicious perennial herb that I love harvesting for fish and chicken dishes. It's really great just to marinate my chicken with some lemon, some thyme, and some rosemary. It's super fragrant. You can see how teeny tiny these little flowers are, but they really make a delicious addition to your dinner recipes, or even to throw in soups for those good comfort foods in the wintertime. Now you can see here that the thyme is also considered a woodier herb. All these kind of dark wood stems here. So generally these, like I mentioned before, are the ones that are a little bit more difficult to propagate and also very challenging to grow from seed. So you can propagate them in the same way. Got a nice little jar here of herbs that we can grow on my windowsill during the winter time. A little tip to easily use thyme in your recipes. You snip off the amount that you need and then just run your fingers backwards along the stem to harvest tiny, tiny little leaves. Then you can throw them in your recipes just like this. Super, super easy. Next is rosemary, an absolutely beautiful landscape edible herb, and it really does sustain the heat. We had 100-degree temperatures for a couple of weeks over the summertime, and the leaves got dry and crispy, but the plant lived and is continuing to grow, and it will grow here through the winter time too. Now this is one of my favorite varieties of rosemary. We just cut it back, but it actually is a flowering rosemary. The bees are generally buzzing around here, and I'm sorry I don't know the name of it. I'll have to look up the variety, but very easy to harvest in the same way we did thyme. And I think thyme and rosemary are one of my favorite culinary herbs to use. Then simply run your fingers backwards to harvest the leaves. And I cannot tell you guys how delicious my hands smell right now. It is just like a feast for the senses out here. It's so amazing. Now, all three of these herbs are also extremely drought tolerant, and you can cut them back in the winter time and they'll grow right back in the spring. Now, in you colder northern zones, when you cut back your herbs for the fall, you may want to mulch them heavily at the base of the plant with 3 to 4 inches of shredded leaves, just to protect those roots from freezing in the extremely cold temperatures. I highly encourage you to grow herbs near your house, either in containers like I just showed you, or make a special little kitchen herb garden like I have here. Now the wind has just crisped everything up this week. We had crazy, crazy winds, but the herbs are so hardy, they are holding up very well. This is another variety of rosemary, very different than the one I have out front, but again, a great landscaping plant. A little bit larger of a variety, larger leaves here. So look for different varieties of the herbs that you enjoy, and they may have subtle differences in the flavors. Now, a couple other perennial herbs I have growing here. One of my favorites is parsley. I think parsley is probably one of the most underrated herbs of all. You know, it's a lot more than just a garnish. It has so much flavor that you can add to your salads, even your scrambled egg sandwiches, your lunchtime sandwiches. It is just so delicious. And one of the things I love about parsley is it's easy to grow from seed. It can take a couple of weeks to germinate, but it is prolific. It's what's called a biennial. So the first year, you've got the leaves. The second year, it will go to seed and often reseed itself. I've only planted parsley here maybe a couple of times, and it grows back year after year here in our mild winter climate, and really just grows like crazy. It's definitely a cooler weather herb. So it is frost hardy and grows well in shaded areas in the summertime. I had it growing here all summer long. Now here's another herb that's not a perennial. It's basil. You can definitely see it's getting at the end of its life with the colder nights we had here. So not an herb you want to grow outside in November, but you can definitely take cuttings and grow it inside. Parsley is also in my herb garden seed collection, along with cilantro, dill, fennel, lots of other great herbs you can grow inside this winter. Now down the hill here just a little bit is a very, very fun perennial herb, and that is chamomile. Have you ever grown chamomile before? It has gorgeous little white flowers. If you come on down here, you can see some of the flowers are still blooming here. Took a little bit of a beating with the heat we've had and the wind. But chamomile is just a delightful herb. It makes absolutely delicious chamomile tea, which is very, very relaxing. And it just kind of spills over the side of my raised bed here in the summertime. There's lots of these beautiful, delicate little white flowers, which are beautiful in tea, like I mentioned, or also gorgeous for dessert garnishes. So definitely grow chamomile in your herb garden. Now chamomile is not quite as hardy as sage, thyme, and rosemary, but it is hardy down to about 10 degrees. Now it will definitely start to kind of die off as the temperatures get cold. So at that point in time for any of your herbs, go ahead and cut them back, mulch heavily around the plant, and then they'll come back again in spring. You'll be amazed. The wonderful thing about all these perennials you can grow in November is that they're so versatile. Grow them in containers, in raised beds, in-ground gardens, indoors, outdoors, partial shade or in sun for bigger plants. And here I've got my last herb we're going to be talking about today, and that is fennel. I think fennel is another one of those underrated herbs that a lot of people don't grow, but I absolutely love it. This one is going to seed, and the bees, I'm telling you guys, this will bring bees into your garden like crazy. It looks very, very similar to dill, with a kind of feathery type of leaves. The main thing that fennel is grown for, though, that it's so delicious, it has kind of an anise type flavor, are the bulbs. So the bulbs are at the very bottom of the plant, and they're delicious, chopped up, sliced up for salads. You can see the bulb right down here. You can even put them on your garden fresh pizza. You can use the leaves for garnish, or put them in your scrambled eggs or your salads. It's a very, very easy herb to grow from seed. This one's in my herb seed collection as well. So no need to propagate it. You can start seeds actually indoors, plant them outside, either in the spring. Get your roots established on these herbs before the cold weather sets in. And fennel is good down to about 10 degrees. Mulch heavily in the wintertime. Cut it back once it starts to die, and it will grow back again in spring. One of my all-time favorite herbs, and it's kind of a great landscaping plant too, as all these herbs do. A good kind of filler space for this raised bed, but grows back very easily once you cut it back. I want to know which of these herbs you're going to be growing in your garden this month. Even if you can't plant all 10 of them, keep it simple. Just pick 2 or 3, get those going either outdoors or inside, and grab my herb seed collection to grow some of these from seed. Keeps your costs down, and we always have a sale going to make it less expensive for you. 25% off right now with the code CaliKim25. Thanks so much for watching. Can't wait to read your comments. We'll see you next time in the garden.